weekend of 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifiers galore on the continent of Africa. Of course, it's been a wonderful result for a number of countries, but for Nigeria, it has not been what the Super Eagles of Nigeria bargained for. 2 points from 2 games from a possible 6 from a team that didn't qualify for the 2022 FIFA World Cup in Qatar. Of course, it is not looking good for the Super Eagles, but for Egypt, back-to-back victory. Of course, Cameroon, Ghana, all of them, they recorded very, though narrow for Ghana over Madagascar, but at least the 3 points is in the bag for them. So the Super Eagles will get our focus today on the show. On that note, I welcome you to another wonderful edition of Sport Africa. Now, let's take you through the talking points on the show today. Of course, like you said, the Super Eagles of Nigeria will be getting our attention. What could be the problem? And Nigerians are demanding the sack of the Portuguese coach Jose Peseiro. The question will be, should the NFF yield the call of Nigerians? And of course, we'll be looking at that. Will be in the talking points. Then we'll be looking at stars in the diaspora. We'll be going to Zimbabwe this morning. And of course, the review of the big game over the weekend. All right, before we get to talking, but let's take you through the continental roundup. Now, they've said that there are minnows in football, but recent results for Nigeria in the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifier so far has proved that that isn't true. For instance, Lesotho are rated 153rd in the world against the Super Eagles, who are rated 40th. How do you call that? Yesterday against Zimbabwe, when they needed to get back to the qualifier, of course, they had to come from behind again against Zimbabwe, who were not playing in front of their own fans. So we'll be looking at, should the NFF sack Jose Peseiro, who has qualified the country for the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations in Cote d'Ivoire? We'll get talking next time. Let's quickly go on this break. We'll see you on the flip side. Please stay with us. Welcome back. It's still Sport Africa. Please, if you have not subscribed to this channel, please subscribe, because we told you that I'll be taking you into the camp of each of the teams, of course, participating in the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifier. And of course, day by day, we are gradually moving to the kickoff of the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations in Cote d'Ivoire. So we'll let you know how your country, whether you are in Africa or in the diaspora, we will be letting you into the camp of your team and how they are gearing up for the biggest football fiesta in Africa. Now, James Agberibi is here. Kado Bundari, unfortunately, isn't around. Kado is a bit under the weather. But James Agberibi, James, you're welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you very much, Femi. Happy to be here.
Yeah, James, thankfully, you were live at the Godswill Akpabio International Stadium to see Nigeria and Lesotho, all the way from Lagos. Sadly, you lost the phone. The Super Eagles lost 2 points. I don't know which is more painful, but let's get talking. What was the feeling of fans in the stadium after the result?
Well, it was one of shock, annoyance, anger, because all the people who came around, they just came to like, okay, we are collecting the 3 points, especially when you take your mind back to how the team lost the World Cup tickets. I mean, everybody expected them to like hit the ground running, but what they experienced was a team that as if they played as if it was a friendly game. That's like they didn't even know that there's something at stake. It was just terrible output from the players. Those that came from the bench, they hardly see any impact. So generally, it was a poor experience. You know, so I don't know. It's sad that we've kicked off the qualifiers on this rather disappointing note. You know, I remember there was a time I was trying to cut the players some slacks. You know, when I said maybe the playing pitch is one of the reasons why it's affecting the players, because a lot of them didn't play Nigeria here. You know, but Coyote now give me reasons why the players today have fault in some of the, and I saw reasons with him. I mean, Femi, we have a bunch of players who are not patriotic. We have a bunch of players who I don't really think they know what it means to wear the green white.
They do not value the green
yeah,
white, green
exactly.
The Super Eagles.
Yeah. Even somebody even made a statement that sometimes when you look at the Super Eagles players, it's like a reunion of friends who just came around just took advantage of the international break and a reunion.
It's a opportunity to get together once again.
I'm telling you, it's like there's no I don't. What this team lack a lot of things.
Sense of seriousness, sense of patriotism.
Yeah, exactly. We can come out all day and say Pesero, he has his own fault. He's a terrible coach. We all know that. You can come out and say Uzor, that one, he has not covered himself in glory. We know that. But what about the other players? In this team, we cannot even pick out somebody
James,
who will take the game by the stroke of the neck and say, okay, this game we are going to win it. This is the same of the same. So, I mean, it's sad that for a team that lost the last World Cup, we expect them to come out flying, but at the end of the day, look at the kind of performances we've been getting from them.
Okay, James, let's get talking about, of course, thank you for walking us through how it was live in New York. Of course, you were with other sport journalists. Now, let's look at the issues now, because up to this morning, Nigerians are still besieging social media to express their frustration, their anger, telling the NFF to sack Ose Pesero. Yesterday, after the game, Ose Pesero blamed the long-hour flight from Nigeria to Rwanda, and of course, the three-hour bus drive from Rwanda to, of course, to the stadium where that game took place. But just in the same press conference, Alex Wobi was saying that they are professionals, that they could not use the long flight as an excuse for their drab game against Zimbabwe. Of course, yesterday I was chatting with Ifeanyi Udeze, and he was telling me that in their time, they will be chewing gum on the pitch and play against either Lesotho or Zimbabwe. And he said they wouldn't go on with less than 7 goals. Because look at the rating. The Super Eagles of Nigeria are ranked 48th. Lesotho are ranked 153rd. How do you even explain that?
Yeah, I mean, it just goes to show you, just like what I said. This bunch of players that we have, these are players who don't. Let's just be frank with ourselves. We don't have quality players. Forget it. Find they are playing in some. Just even check out the kind of clubs they play for. I mean, apart from
but James, Iwobi yesterday was saying that with the quality in the team, though we know Victor Osimhen, Samuel Chukwueze, Wilfred Ndidi, of course, they didn't even come for the game against Lesotho. Then we had Taiwo Awoniyi also sustained injury in that game. But Alex Iwobi was saying that regardless, the team still had sufficient quality to be able to get a very good result either against Lesotho or Zimbabwe.
And so they should come out and tell us, so what's the problem? If you know that you have sufficient quality, so what is the problem? What is holding you back from doing the needful? Sometimes we've seen teams that with bad coaches, they still come out, they just decide to just take the game on their own and go about. So just to show the kind of mindset we have in this current set of Super Eagles players. They have very weak, poor mentality. They just come and they feel if they just give whatever percentage of performance they feel. I'm not sure. They say this is not the first time this thing has been happening. It's so annoying. Okay. You fail to go to the last World Cup. Nobody needs to teach you that you have to go all out. I mean, the coach is there, is performing terribly. We know. But you as a player, what are you doing to salvage the situation?
Okay, James. Yesterday, one of the things Ifeanyi Udeze said was, if it were Algeria or Morocco, they will have sacked Pesero right from after the game against Lesotho. Now, that has been the call. And he told me specifically, he said, ex-internationals are not happy that they are as sad as Nigerians are, but some of them wouldn't just be able to come out and say, this is it. But he said, if it were Algeria or Morocco, they will have sacked Pesero soon after the game against Lesotho. Now, at this moment, would you advise the NFF to sack Pesero? Bearing in mind that he has qualified the country 2023 AFCON, which was one of its even in this contract, that has been met. So would you advise the NFF to sack him now with barely 2 months, not even up to 2 months, to the kickoff of the AFCON, so Nigeria would not repeat the same mistake they made sacking what's his name, Agenotro, for Iguavoin before the 2021 AFCON?
For me, I know that a lot of people are angry and they want the coach gone, but I don't think it's going to be a good idea to sack him now. He should finish the mess that he has created. I mean, what's the point? Just go to the AFCON knowing that, okay, our time qualify for the World Cup, so use the AFCON to prepare ourselves. Hopefully, some of the injured players would have recovered, and just because there's a campaign that what did they target? Let's do it again. But with this current set of players, I think that campaign will just end in futility. Nothing will come out of it. If it's based on what we are looking at right now. So, second, the coach, I mean, he's not going to go well. We should remember what happened with Gennaro Troll. So if you sack him now, who will tell me that quality coach that you're going to get in now? Except you're going to draft in one local coach, and at the end of the day, you still the same cycle. So for me, the idea of sacking him, I don't think I'll buy into it. Let him, like I said, let him finish the mess he has created, and then from there we'll move on.
So you would rather that Nigeria fail to qualify for the 2026 World Cup at the expense of, having a new coach now, because some Nigerians are actually, banding around, of course, the name of, Amuneke. Some are saying that Amuneke can actually do better with this team, with the experience that he's had on the continent. Remember what he did with Tanzania, qualifying them for the AFCON. But would you rather, James, you are saying you would rather allow Pesero to finish what is remaining of the Super Eagles than Nigeria bringing in a new coach now?
Let me. What I'm saying is, I think there's a clause in his contract that I think it depends on his performance at the AFCON. So I think that AFCON should now be the yardstick. Let him go to the AFCON because it's already late. So there's no point. So let him take the team to the AFCON. At least the good excuse that you win the AFCON or you are gone. I think that should be a better, so that at least we will know where he stands. For a coach to take a pay cut, it goes to show that he's just desperate, and the top quality coach will not take a pay cut to continue with situations like this. So
that is what Kennedy has always been saying.
Yes, exactly. So let's wait till after the AFCON. So let's say, okay, because I'm writing their chances off this with this current team that I'm looking at. This team is not good enough to even get to the semi-finals. So let's use the AFCON as preparation for the World Cup, so that if they don't, it doesn't meet the target, at least we have enough time to get in a new coach, so that we'll be able so that he'll be able to come up with something good. Like I said, then use the AFCON to check out the team, and from there we start all over again. At least from now to June, that's when the next qualifiers for the World Cup will kick off, and hopefully we would have getting our acts right. So for me, sacking him now, I don't buy in that idea.
Okay, I think I will agree with you to some extent, because of course the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifiers will resume next year June, and of course that will be way after the 2023 AFCON will have been concluded. So I think at that point, the Nigeria Football Federation will have sufficient time to actually decide whether to continue with Jose Peseiro, or of course continue with him, or just relieve him of his duty. But Nigerians are insisting, if you go across social media in the country right now, they are saying, sack him now before it is too late. Sack him now before you will make fans cry, because a lot of Nigerians are saying that nothing is working in their country. And football, which has been the only thing giving them joy, is already being swept into the drains. Let's quickly go on this break. We'll return to look at stars in diaspora. Like I told you, we'll be going to Zimbabwe this morning. Please stay with us. Welcome back to Sport Africa. Of course, at this point, we'll be going to, we're talking about our stars in the diaspora. But for Nigeria, of course, Nigerians are still besieging social media, asking the Nigeria Football Federation to sack Jose Peseiro before it is too late. They are arguing that nothing is working in the country, and the only thing that seems to be giving them joy, which is football, is gradually being washed off. Now, let's talk about stars in diaspora. We told you today that we'll be going to Zimbabwe. The Zimbabwe Football Association were banned for a year last year by the World Football Governing Body, FIFA. And now, yesterday in Rwanda, far away from, in front of their fans, they recorded a 1-0 draw against the Super Eagles of Nigeria in the 2026 World Cup qualifier. So today, they are stars in diaspora. And of course, their coach, Baltimore Brito, a Brazilian tactician, is doing a great job right there. James, what do you have to say? 1 year, no football, and he's been able to gather some players. Like, for instance, the Walter who scored against Nigeria, that long-range free kick, plays for Polokwane City in South African Premier League. I think they deserve to be celebrated on Sport Africa today, regardless of the fact that they almost defeated the Super Eagles of Nigeria on Sunday.
Yes, I mean, for a team that was banned, and I think the good thing that instead of allowing the ban to affect them or make them lament, what they did was just kind of regroup themselves, and they appointed Brito, The former assistant coach to Jose Mourinho at Chelsea, they know that they had a vision. They know that they are heading somewhere, and they playing away from home. They didn't lose any game. No fans to cheer them, but they were still able to go about their business, and they almost defeated the Super Eagles. Forget the fact that the game ended 1-1. They were just profligate in front of goal. They had good chances to score. Unfortunately, they couldn't take it. So good result for them. 2 games, 2 points from away from home. You just imagine. I mean, they played in front of their fans. I mean, it would have been they say maybe 4 points. So I'll say a good one for them. They even had their legendary striker Peter Ndovu in the camp with them to encourage them, and I think it dropped off on them. So I mean, just imagine a team that came out from crisis, able to regroup and get good. So far, you take 2 games, but compared to the Super Eagles, who parade so-called superstars who could not even lift themselves. So for me,
you're still angry with the Super Eagles.
I mean, it's enough to be angry. So for me, it's a good one. That's a team that is ready to resurrect and move their football forward. It's not enough to be going about parading yourself as world beaters when your so-called stars could not even lift themselves. Even when things are against them, against the odds, they cannot even fight and do something positive. Just to go about forming a world beaters. So good one for the Warriors of Zimbabwe, and let's see where this take them. If unfortunately that they will not be at AFCON 2023, we have seen the best of them. So at least you have to start from somewhere, and they are using these qualifiers, and hopefully they will play a series of friendly games to continue the good work that the new coach is doing with the team.
Of course, the Warriors of Zimbabwe, of course, they were beaten at the war, but of course they didn't lose the battle. And the coach said they are on the right track, and we hope that the Zimbabwean FA will give Preto all the support it needs. Let's go on this break. When we return, we'll be reviewing our big game over the weekend, Ashanti Kotoko versus Medema. We'll be telling you how it went down. Please stay with us. Yeah, welcome back. It's still Sport Africa. Please subscribe to this channel if you have not. Like we've told you, we have a unique content for you, ahead of the 2023 AFCON in Cote d'Ivoire. And of course, the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifiers. It was sweet when the World Cup, back-to-back win, of course. Remember the Djibouti for 6 last time, Mohamed Salah scoring 4. And again, yesterday, they recorded another victory. So Ghana will be playing today. So it's going to be another test for Chris Hughton. Remember that last gasp win, a goal by Inaki Williams, his first goal for the Black Stars after so much criticism on the social media. I saw him, he wrote, finally. So we will be keeping our tabs as far as that is concerned. Let's talk about the big game over the weekend, James. Of course, we were not here. Kyle Dogundari and I reviewed this game. Ashanti Kotoko hosting the Bepa Premier League champions in Ghana, Medema, and Kotoko nicked this one 1-0. James, would you say Kotoko are back? Because still not looking very good for them. They are still 12th, 8 points behind leaders, Edwana Stars. Kotoko, Medema, who are campaigning on the continent in the CAF Champions League, they are 7th, still even better than Kotoko. Excuse me.
Fine. Kotoko, they've not been doing well, but the defeat Medema. Medema is not a big team, no matter how you want to look at it. But
yeah, that was what we said, because it shows you how the mighty has fallen. Because in the past, it's usually Kotoko and of course Hearts of Folk. But now we have to bring in, the team like Medema against Kotoko, talking about big game.
Yes, so that's what happens when the big teams don't do the right things. I mean, whatever, imagine beating Medema now, it's like they're celebrating it. Something that shouldn't even happen. That they even won 1-0 too is even like it's an insult for Kotoko. These are teams that are supposed to annihilate. But with the way things are now, whatever result that comes, so we just have to take it. So because the Medema, they are still on the continent for the first time, and for Kotoko to beat them, I mean, maybe we just help them to reposition themselves and get their campaign back on track. Hopefully, they will use this victory to relaunch themselves and then let's see how it goes, because it has not been palatable. The fans are very angry. Everybody is annoyed. You know, that a big team like Ashanti Kotoko, they are struggling, that they're even celebrating the victory against Medema. I mean, that goes to show how far
They're
they've
the champions
fallen.
now.
So,
Medema are the champions now.
I know, so let's see how far they go from there. If at the next game they don't put up something better, because the fans will be expecting something better from them. Because they can't do this one, the next game you now struggle again. I mean, so a good one for them. Let's see where this takes them to.
All right, regarding the situation of Osipesoro with the Super Eagles, we'll be keeping, of course, our fingers crossed regarding that, because the Nigeria Football Federation are currently under immense pressure. Of course, even the sports minister spoke with the players after the draw against Lesotho, with everyone hoping that they will be able to get the win against Zimbabwe. So I know there'll be a lot of communication this morning. So we will be letting you know what the decision will be. But as James has said, I think I agree with him that Pesero should be allowed to be in charge until perhaps after the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations. And I know that will certainly, most likely, not certainly, most likely be the position of the Nigeria Football Federation. Thank you so much for keeping with Sport Africa today. James Agberebi, thank you so much for your analysis. We appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you, Femi.
And to our producer, the man behind the camera, we appreciate you so much for always putting this together for us. And to our fans, thank you so much for being with us along the journey, of course, from Nigeria Super fans now to Sport Africa. Please share our videos. Please comment. Tell us what you think about the situation with the Super Eagles. What do you think is the solution? Whether you're in Nigeria, you're in diaspora, even if you're Ghanaian, you're a Cameroonian. Of course, I know you love the Super Eagles, but it is not the best of times for them right now. We'll see you all on Friday. Have a blessed week. Thank you so much. Bye for now.